folks, sorry there was a little problem with the recording, but now we're back. Our apricot glaze seems to be done, which is good. I got it to boil. It's nice and bubbly like this. A little bit was more bubbly. Notice that the last few drops are very reluctant to actually leave the spoon, which means that our apricot glaze is at perfect consistency right now. Good stuff. We'll leave that there for a second. Stir up our chocolate glaze to get it ready to use. In fact, I'd almost say let's put it on medium heat for a second in order to loosen it up a little bit. Just a few seconds, doesn't need that much. I just turned it off the heat again. So now what we're going to do is the next step. We're going to take a serrated knife. It says trim the top of the cake to make it level, but what I'm just going to do is I'm going to cut the cake into half. Into 2 equal-sized pieces. This is a tough step to do, so don't worry if it's not the most even cut in the world, like mine. I kind of had a bad cut. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. What's important is that it kind of came out okay in the end. But on the bright side, we have some excess sponge that we can nibble on. Alrighty. You can do this with the cardboard round, but we're not going to. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take, put my chocolate on medium to get reheating. Flip this over very gently and make the top, and brush the top of the cake with apricot glaze. Put a brush into our apricot glaze and start brushing the top of the apricot glaze. It's going to be a little messy, but it's going to be A-okay. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put the second layer on top, and then brush again. Sorry, just a little bit confusing in the direction. I think what I did last time I made this is I just brushed the entire outside layer with apricot glaze. This is what I'm going to try and do again. Even though my cake is falling apart as we make it. That's okay. All we'll do is put that there. Brush the entire cake with our nice apricot glaze. And you made a lot of it, so make sure not to be stingy. And you know what? You made this nice apricot glaze. Who said that the parts that aren't being made into actual cake? Who said they can't have some apricot glaze too? They can absolutely have some apricot glaze. Everything gets apricot glaze. Even the inside of the cake can have apricot glaze. make sure you're really generous with this. Flip over the backside of these slushies as well. You know, my dad always really likes to nibble on food that is kind of like, I wouldn't say not junk food, but like little bits of food that you can nibble on. So this is gonna be perfect dad food. So if you have someone in your house that likes to nibble on things from time to time, this is gonna be your food. This is gonna be your cake because there's a bunch of break off. That's totally fine. Lather that glaze on. If you want, you can even pour just a little bit on the control mat and brush it all around. A little more on the control mat. And sure, it might be really messy, but it'll also come out really good. But then this is the problem that you get when you pour. You think this is bad? We haven't even hit the chocolate glaze yet. We'll give these guys more love too. There you go. That is a good chunk of our apricot glaze used. Pretty much all of it. The vast majority of useful stuff. Now the chocolate glaze. Rinse off our brush. Do a little cleaning as we go here. And then make our chocolate glaze. So we have our chocolate glaze over here that we're gonna get ready to coat. Move our spatula to the sink. And then start coating. Get our brush and just brush that entire chocolatey wonderful glaze on. Yeah, we made all this chocolate glaze. So why can't these pieces get some love too? And why can't we flip it over? The other side gets chocolate glaze too. Not the glaze, the actual pan. still not done glooping this thing on, too. And you know what we're going to even do? We're going to make a smiley face on the cake. We're going to make a smiley face on the cake. And that is a Sachertorte. Does it look like it got absolutely destroyed? Yes. But did it make an absolute mess? Yes, it did. But what I will say though is that it still tastes really good, and that's the important thing. Because even if it looks horrible, which it does, it doesn't look like even a cake. It looks like just a beat up cake. But that's totally okay. Because it tastes good. I still really like how this turned out. And the reason I really like how this turned out is because I put a lot of work into it. Things don't have to taste absolutely perfect for it to be a worthy experience to make. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to make this cake and bring it to you guys, even though it didn't come out as perfectly as I would have liked it to have come out. I'm setting down our cake on a different surface. Like that works. While I clean up the aftermath of the glazing, which will have a big mess too. I would actually recommend getting the cardboard though. I didn't have like cardboard rounds that I could actually do this on. So ultimately, the moral of the story is, we had a really great time doing this. I had a great time making it, even though it took a really long time to make. And I really hope that you guys, although it may not have turned out as perfectly appearance-wise as we would have liked it, I really hope that you take the time out of your busy schedule in order to make this and serve it to your friends or your family. Because I'm sure that they are going to have a great time eating this, just as much of a great time as I had making it. So, overall, some final tips for this cake. You can absolutely store this in the fridge for a couple of days. I'm not sure about if you can store this in the freezer. I haven't really tried yet, though I wouldn't recommend freezing it. I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead and try. I definitely, I'm not going to stop you from trying and freezing it. Another thing that you definitely want to have when you're serving this cake is sweetened whipped cream. You can get this at generally any grocery store. It's really accessible. But the reason is that initially, the pastry on its own isn't that sweet. So you want to have some help with sweet whipped cream. Also, what really puts this pastry over the edge for me, or this cake over the edge for me, is a nice cup of coffee with it. You can have it caffeinated, decaffeinated. But if you do make this cake, I heavily recommend having it with some nice coffee. Don't mind me, I'm just doing some of the final cleanup. The recipe for this will be in the description. The recipe for this will be in the description. So if you want to make it, or not make it, so if you want to see the exact recipe that I used, you can absolutely take a look in the description. Alrighty, everyone. Also, if you want to use the glaze to make hot chocolate with anything you would use melted chocolate for in hot chocolate, you can absolutely use some of the glaze as well for hot chocolate. So with this extra leftover, you could put it in the fridge and use it for hot chocolate. So it is very usable for other things, even if you do have some leftovers. So overall, once again, I had a great time making this, and I'd like to wish you all, I'd like to wish you all a very good week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye bye.